This is my 1953 Beaver bandsaw, model 3300. I restored it a couple of years ago. It first caught my eye just because I think the design is beautiful, kind of an Art Deco style to it. It still works quite well. I don't use it a whole lot. There's a few remaining things I want to tune up on this, but otherwise gets used a few times a year. I'll go over some of the work I've done to it and show the drive down here in the stand that I built. So I've taken the entire saw apart during the restoration, sandblasted the castings, painted them, redid the wheels, put new tires on, still available on Amazon, replaced all the bearings, built this new stand, and added a new Baldor motor with a link belt drive. You'll see I still got a work light to put on, but hopefully that'll come soon. And the other piece I picked up was not quite matching, but pretty close, miter gauge off a Beaver table saw. I'll pull that up here next. This is the miter gauge I built for it. So I managed to get an 8-inch Beaver table saw, which is a pretty close match. I sandblasted it, cleaned it all up, painted it. I added this brass plate and a new bar to fit the miter slot. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I really like the cast Beaver logo. Here's the inside look of the bandsaw with the wheels exposed. If anybody is restoring one of these in the future, one thing I'd caution you on is taking apart the hinge door and sandblasting these components, because it tends to relieve the stress and warp things a little bit. Made it really tricky to reassemble and get that hinged cover to mate nicely once again. So what you see here is the 1.5 horsepower Baldor motor powering this, and the link belt to the drive of the pulley. This was basically the biggest 115 volt motor I could get to run a 15 amp circuit without it tripping a breaker. And it's got plenty of power for what it cuts. I've only cut a little bit of hardwood on it, but it goes through it no problem. Now here's the stand I built for the saw. I've got a few questions on this in the past, so I thought I'd go into a little detail. I built the base itself out of 2 pieces of 3/4 ply. The top is also 3/4 ply. There's 4x4s on every corner that hold it all together. And the kind of funky looking pegboard that you see on each face, I picked up from IKEA. It's one of those synthetic kind of wood products, but I thought it matched the finish pretty well. And what I really was trying to achieve was to provide good ventilation for the electric motor. Otherwise, I carved a slot in so the miter gauge could fit on the front there. Mounted it on a Bora Portamate base. And one of the benefits of using the IKEA pegboard is I have little hooks where I can hang spare blades on the front of the saw. Comes in handy. Here's a close-up of the table and the blade guide. The fence, I still want to do a little bit more work to. It slides pretty well, but it is all original hardware, so sometimes it binds up. Otherwise, the blade runs nice and true, and it stays pretty cool. I typically just keep a 1/2-inch blade on here. I don't do anything too fine for woodworking, so it's more general purpose, but it's been working really well.